Folks, another week, another interesting podcast coming at you. Creative Finance with JB. We got Reverend Dr. Barnett Smith this week. We're gonna have a good time with this. As you see that we're talking to a man of God that's called, and also, you know, he's in the real estate, got a lot of things happening, been through a lot that he can probably share with you with the market and what's going on. But we also going to talk about his event on December 7th. So it's going to be a lot going on, folks. And we just want to start out and just, you know, thank y'all for attending tonight. It's going to be a time that we just discuss some things, what's going on, what's happening in real estate, what Dr. Smith is doing in that church, and, you know, building his next church for it and stuff, and get into it. So, Dr. Smith, if you give us a little background about yourself to start off, would be greatly appreciated. Welcome.
Man, I got to, well, God bless you. But listen, I'm probably the most boring guy in the universe. But listen, if you want a little bit of backdrop, I don't even know that everybody we know has got a yesterday. Let me say that clearly. 29 years of my life was in the military, and when I got out of it, I thought that the world owed me everything. So I was acting real foolish. You know how young black folk do. They act real crazy. I was absolutely no exception. But then one day, God just sort of did to me as he did Saul. He sort of knocked me off my steed and said, I got purpose for you, and there's some place I need you to go, and I need you to have your eyes open. So that was quite a few years ago, and here I be. So now I am pastoring over a church that has been in existence for over 40 years, but our particular branch has only been open 8 years. Okay. And we're in the process now of doing a ground up project and looking for help from everybody to help get us started, because we have a belief. It's very simple. We believe that the church should be the nuclei for the community, not restrictive about color or any other preference that you may have. We think that we should be the centerfold, so that when you have questions about anything, morality or otherwise, you should be able to come to your church and get a vital answer, so that we can talk about it, discuss it, and see whether or not we can get you to get the answer that you're seeking. And everybody's not going to get the same answer. Let me be clear.
Absolutely.
No, I'm not here to preach on anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody convert to anything. I'm just trying to give you what's commonly known as the truth. That's all I can do.
Absolutely. So tell me about this investment in real estate and churches you building.
Well, we actually are part of a conference that has 50 churches up and down the coast.
Oh, wow.
And we have very simple beliefs. You know, people can talk a lot. We have churches all over the place, mega churches, in fact, where their same focus has always been on self. It's never been for the people that really supports them. So our agenda is really simple. We live in a community where poverty is all around us, and they're going through different things. And yet we as a church, we as an embodiment of Christ, are not doing anything to correct it. We're looking for them to come to us and give to us so that we can sustain. So what we want to do is reverse the role. We have projects now where we're trying to buy a city block or two, refurbish the homes, and teach people to be homeowners, not renters. That's important to us. The program that we have is a simple 5-year investment program. You come in, you put down your down payment, and we will actually be your mortgage company or your finance company for 5 years. But in that period of time, you're learning how to be a homeowner. There are several courses that you must pass, and at the end of that 5th year, you should be self-sufficient. Your credit should be up to par, and you should be able to refinance on your own. Otherwise, we would have to take over the note all over again, and you re-sign a new note. But it will give you an opportunity to be a low-cost homeowner. That will be our first primary. Then teaching values, teaching how to lead, how to balance a checkbook, how to invest, how to grow. These are all things that we want people to be aware of, and you'd be amazed at the folks that we have in our community that do not see the importance of learning how to live within our own society.
Wow.
It's the truth. They're busy doing a lot of other things. And I think that has a lot to do with the society we lived under for so many years. You know, we've been taught that we were secondary citizens for so long that now folks starting to believe that they are. Well, nothing could be farther from the truth. We are the largest consumers in our country. We're the most supportive in our country, but yet we are the most depressed in our country. So we have to be able to be taught that, man, you know, we are an important entity in this society, in this experiment we call a democracy, otherwise known as the United States of America. So other than that, I don't have a whole lot to say.
And Dr. Smith, what made you get into teaching the folks about that home ownership? You know,
well, several reasons. We have what's called men's houses right now. We have a couple of those where men who were released from prison but were refused to be able to realistically re-enter society because there was really no place for them to go. They could not get adequate housing. They could not get jobs. They couldn't do any of those things. So in our effort, we have what's called Jacob's Ladder Project, which is our men's ministry. They have a place and we teach them responsibilities of paying rent, but also giving them an opportunity to formulate a new career. We teach them that, but we also give them an opportunity to share in what we believe in, which is our faith. It is not force-fed, but at the end of a definite period of time, most of the ones that we've had, and we've had it now for 5 years, the oldest house that we've had, and they've gone on to be productive members of society, owning their own homes and doing other things that is really constructive, furthering their education as well.
And that's amazing for it, because, you know, we don't have a lot of our churches out here teaching these vital skills to the parishioners, and I think that's a wonderful program that y'all doing there.
Johnny, there's a reason for that. You see, we have, and God forgive me if I'm mislabeling any of my brothers in the clergy, but we have a selfish behavior, my friend. We think that we're going to sit on this throne forever and a day. And what we tend to do more often than not, we become entertainers rather than teachers.
Wow.
We get them in the pews and we sit down, and the louder you scream, the more you run around the podium, the more you try to exert yourself and sound like you have an agnoid problems. We think that is the way to go. And then people start giving you money in accordance. Well, that's fine. I don't need a new Bentley. I don't need a house on the hill. I don't need any of those things. In fact, the teaching, and this is where I'm going to step on somebody's toes, and I know they're going to get mad as hell with me. But listen, you hear every day when you go into a church, you hear them talk about tithing of 10%, and that God wants 10% of your gross salary. Well, nothing could be farther from the truth. That's not what the word says. The word of God says he wants 10% of your first harvest. You are his first harvest. He wants 10% of your totality, not your money. He owns everything that is. Why would he want just your money? He says, replenish my storehouse. But people get confused because they start tithing into a certain entity, not knowing that God has blessed you with these skill factors. He's blessed you with some other instructive methods that you can pass on. But instead of you giving 10% of it to help the entire community to grow, the entire kingdom to grow, we fall short of that and think that money is the answer. We give them our money, we walk out of the church and everything is well, we all saved. You got me preaching. I'm so sorry.
Come on now, you talking good.
What it is. That's all it is. So I praise God every day that he has opened my eyes. And people will tell you that follow me will tell you very simply, I'm not plastic, my brother. The same way I am right here, right now, is the
Right.
way I am 24/7. I haven't changed. So,
Right. Right.
so
I can agree with that. I can
amen.
agree with
Amen.
that. And you know, it's so interesting. You know, every week we talk about people budgeting, utilizing their money wisely, being good stewards, and how are they able to do that? You know, and
Mm.
this is the one way to doing that when you start helping the community, and the community starts to grow, and the people start to grow, and everybody can be in a win-win situation here for it to go, forward. And that's a great mindset for it, because a lot of folks struggle with that tithes and offerings theory.
Mhm.
Some of them scared to walk in the church for that. you know.
Listen, man, there are some churches that has an ATM machine in the lobby because they don't want to trust people writing them checks. Now,
hmm
this is a place that's founded on trust and faith, but they can't trust you to give them their money.
Right.
So we have an issue because they become more worldly than they have become spiritual. And
hmm
that would be my problem.
Right. For
So
this.
we're just regular, everyday people, my
People.
brother. That's all we are. And praying that everybody will grab a hold, help us to pull ourselves up. In fact, we're looking for good workers in the vineyard.
hmm
The Bible tells us that the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few.
hmm
So there's a whole lot of folks who wants the benefits, but don't nobody want to come to work to do it, right?
hmm
How many times have you gone into another person's church and found that it does not represent what you think it should represent? It does not have the spangles that you think it should have. Not
hmm
recognizing that if just a few will put their backs to the grindstone, everything that you envision could be promoted right there in that building.
Absolutely, absolutely. And tell me some of your core values for your church. What are some of the core values that you see for the members attending that's ready to um, be harvesters, as I want to say?
Listen, man, we are inclusionary church,
hmm
meaning that we are multicultural. Uh,
hmm
I don't have restrictions on what you look like.
hmm
Uh, the color of your skin does not dictate, as one main famous man used to say, the context of your character. It
Right.
does not. But you come with brokenness. Lord, I'm about ready to give you something good
Come
here.
on.
Now, listen, it's the real deal, right? The church is a hospital,
Right.
and people that come are broken, right?
Right.
They
Right.
come looking for resolution, right?
hmm
The problem is when they come looking for resolution, all they get is makeshift answers, right?
hmm hmm
When you come to St. Matthew's Church, you get not only your resolution dealt with, you get solutions to your
Right.
issue, right? So that when they come back, they become a member of our family, not just a member of a church, because the church is not four walls, my brother.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it's embedded in here. It's the spirit.
Very.
Whether I gather my flock outside on the campsite or in a tent, it does not matter. The feeling is going to be the same
hmm
because what
hmm
we give to them is earnest.
Yeah.
And that's where my heart is.
Yeah. So
So,
let's talk about your church project coming up. That what we're trying to do and what's our goal and everything.
well, thank God be to you because you have become an active member in this flock that I got. So we're seeking money. And you'll be amazed, man. When we're looking for money, we go in all the wrong directions.
hmm
People of faith say all day long, listen, I got to go to one of the banks. I don't want to name no banks because I don't want to offend nobody. But
Right.
you go to the bank and you sort of humble yourself. In fact, you almost prostrate yourself before a bank manager, begging and pleading for him to give you money, a loan that you got to pay back at interest,
Right.
right? You're begging him to give you an opportunity to go in debt. That's really all you're doing, right?
hmm hmm
So the project is simple. It's much like the original formation of the church.
hmm
When all of the families would get together, they formed the temple and they all bent their back to build the temple. And they bought whatever values that they have, valuables, they would sell it off and give it to the head of the church and allow them to dictate where the money would go and what they would build, and then they would all be supportive. I can tell you that we have lost our way when it comes to learning in the church. We come looking for entertainment. If you don't scream loud enough, if there's not enough music playing and you can't run around the church and someone cannot say to you that you are instantly saved, put on a show, then all of a sudden the church is boring. The reality is it's not about what you're preaching. It's about what you're teaching.
Right.
Now, the man that we follow, and again, I'm not trying to give you Bible study today because that's not what I wanted to do tonight. Right. But what I am saying to you is that if you leave a church, whomever you may be, wherever the church may go, and people are sort of migrating to the mega church these days. They leave that church and they come out skipping, man, and the brother would ask and say, man, how was church? He said, man, that thing was great. He said, well, what did he preach on? He said, I don't know, but that boy sure could preach. He's been entertained. That's all.
Right.
That's pure and simple. But if you cannot come out of church and implement the teaching or the influence that the church gave you, then you have not done anything but attend a movie theater. That's it. So my thing is to transform people from where they used to be into where they're trying to get to. That's all. It's just that simple. And give them some core values that will allow them to handle it. Now, you may say, well, I got children, man, and I preach at them every day, and they ain't listening to me. They go out and they're still acting crazy. I got 6 of them. So, and they go out and they do their own thing. But here's the point. If you sow the seed and it's sowed properly, they will refer back to that when their time of trouble comes. They may not show you, they may not say it to you at the time when you're trying to teach it, but trust what I'm saying. If you buried it on good, solid soil, that seed will grow and it will come out at the time that they need it most. So that would be me.
That's it. So we're looking for some folks to sow a seed to build this edifice, as we say.
Yeah. Listen, we need a lot of folks to sow some seed. Listen, I know there are folks, and here's what I'm asking. This will be real simple. Anybody that's in an earshot of what we're talking about here today will do one of 3 things, if not all 3. They're going to play the lottery. They're going to try to get something out of something, right? They're going to smoke a cigarette if they have not done anything else, and they're going to drink some alcohol. Now, we know they're going to do these 3 things, right? I'm only asking that one of those things for one of those days is what you sow. That's all I'm asking. That don't seem so detrimental to me, right? A pack of cigarette costs you $10 a pack now. I'm only saying, right? But yet you come to the altar when it's time for us to do our collection for tithe and offering. You come to the altar, man, and you tap the plate or you put $2 in it. Right. And you know that to be true because you see it every time you go to church.
Right.
All we're asking is that you be fair with God and he'll be fair with you. That's all I'm saying.
That's it. And folks, that's a good way to think of it. It's almost like sacrificing something that you do that, it can be used to upbuild that edifice or that church or that program that we have. But we have Dr. Smith. He's doing some stuff in the community for these men out here that's looking for shelter. He's trying to just build it up and let the folks know that we got a safe haven. If you want to ever get in contact, the number's coming across the screen, 302-276-0341. If you want to reach out, talk about donating, talk about a sponsorship, talk about something you can help, or just send an email to stmatthews@gmail.com. Either way will work. Somebody's going to get in touch with you. Somebody's going to contact you. Somebody's going to follow up and see what's going out here, because we have a lot of work to do in our community. for it and stuff. We have a lot of projects that need to be touched. We have folks that need to be healed and to keep going, but we're trying to increase those that's out here in this community and they seeking some type of help or resolution to get closer to Jesus or even finding shelter, you know. So we're looking at some donations here for that and getting it going. So tell us, Dr. Smith, you know, if they call, is it like a way that somebody can mail something in or?
Oh, listen, there's two ways of going about this thing. You can do Cash App, which is real easy, pulling it up on the same way that we did. If you pull us up, it'll give you everything that is. If you go on Facebook right now, there's advertisement everywhere from St. Matthews. Just plug in St. Matthews NCCD. And that ain't nothing fancy. This stands for Newcastle County, Delaware. But if you plug that in, you'll see our website as well. You do a lot of things and send it a Giblify, or you can send it Cash App, or you can send it snail mail. If the money is right, we'll come pick it up. So it's either way you want to go would be fine with me. Our mailing address for any money we have is Post Office Box 1158, Newcastle, Delaware, and we would proudly receive what it is that you have to offer. Now, nothing is too large and nothing is too small. We appreciate all donations. It keeps the lights on. It allows us to grow. It allows us to pay the insurances for the buses that we just got. It pays us to do a lot of things. All we want now is to be able to grow, not for the sake of the church, but to grow for the benefit of our community that we're trying to rebuild, to restore.
Tell us about your bus service that you have there.
Well, it's realistically, we just started venturing into a couple of things. For the longest kind of time, we just picked up people to go to church on Sunday morning, or whether we got them for Bible study. We got two $80,000 buses that we got from DART, and we use it in that vein. And then suddenly, you know, the voice of God just sort of spoke in my direction and said, listen, you know, why not make this function for other reasons? We say we are the nuclei for the community, so why can we not serve the community? So we contacted several hotels because all the hotels use transportation services. They have limousine service that come and picks them up and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. And they charge you all kinds of outstanding money to get it. So we decided to talk to the hotels and say, listen, you know, we want to provide transportation from the airport to here and back again. We're even taking the downtown Wilmington, if that would be a choice. And this is what we will charge. We come to a figure that's far lower than what they would pay for Uber or one of the other vehicles that they use. So, and we make it convenient because the service will be available to them, not 24 hours a day, but 20 hours a day. There's only a 4-hour lag. So,
okay. So we're picking up people still on Sunday morning.
Oh, yeah. You pick them up on Sundays when we go to church, and that's fine. You'd be amazed because we've been gathering in a hotel for a minute now, and every Sunday somebody comes in and just walks in. They happen to be staying at the hotel and they want to share services, but they end up being an intricate part of the ministry. They join. Even though they may not live in the general proximity, they become what we would call distant cousins, right? They would still send in their tithe and offering, and they see us because we broadcast live every Sunday. So they're always welcome to see us. They will always have contacts. We use the a slogan as follows. We say, our doors may be locked, but our minds will never close to anybody trying to come in. So you are always welcome. So, yeah.
So where do y'all pick people up at? What's the location, or they just need to call? And
Well, they just need to call. Now, we operate in the Newcastle and the Wilmington area. Anywhere's in Newcastle, Wilmington, Bear, that region is where we pick up folks from. And what they do is they will call because most of them don't have transportation. Now, we're always going to be sort of open for bus transportation, public transportation. But when they cannot have access to that, we come and get them if that's what they desire. So then the next question, oh, well, Pastor, do you charge? No, we don't. We don't charge for your pickup. We just ask that you make sure when you get to that plate, you don't tap that plate. You just put in more than $2. That's all I'm saying. We can go from there.
Right. So that's good ministry out there, picking up people, providing the service to get to and from, which can be. Gas ain't cheap these days,
No, it's not. It is not. And when you drive one of them big buses, bro, believe me, it laughs at you when you put $150 in there. It laughs. Tell you the truth. So not like it operates on fumes these days. It operates, man. I'm telling you.
And let's expand on your shelter, your housing you provide. Tell us a little bit more about that.
About the shelter?
Yes.
We started it about 5 years ago, and I tell you, it was quite by happenstance that we did that. There was a young man, another one that we talk about, that may have been a little bit plastic in his beliefs, but he had what he called it, a reentry program. He had 7 guys living in his house, and they were paying him adequate funding. Well, he was abusing them, and I don't want to get to a whole lot about what he did wrong. But he did call me one day, and he said, man, listen, I need your help. I got to find a house for my men. And I said, what's the issue? And he said, well, listen, man, he said, the lady don't want to put up with us anymore. She wants us to go. So I go with him, and we started looking. And then as God will will it, he gave me a place to go to. But something said, don't put that in that man's name. You make sure you establish this thing the right way. So we did. And that's realistically, we didn't know that he was facing eviction that very next day.
Wow.
And had it not been for the blessing of God, those 7 men would have been on the street. And if they're just already coming out of prison, already knowing that they'd already gave him their money and they're being evicted, that would not have went well, right?
Right.
So thank God we were able to reestablish and try to help him to get back on his little feet. And some people get hard headed, and you know what your parents used to say: if you got a hard head, it makes a soft what?
Yeah,
it do. It does. So some people won't learn, man, but other folks will take the opportunity and grow from it. They will.
So that's good. We starting out, folks getting out of being incarcerated, do need homes. They need shelters, get them off the street, which is an excellent program.
Amen.
That we need to have out here to keep them motivated and keep them from inside and keep them outside, for it.
Let me sort of give you something that may help you. To show you how far reaching we are. And I don't brag about things that we've done. I can only tell you that I've been blessed to be able to communicate. I told you in the beginning of the show, man, I'm not plastic. I'm real about what I say. And my communication is not holier than thou. You will never hear me say things, oh, God bless you, my brother. That ain't me, man. Reality is that I walk in the lane that God gave me. So here's why I'm saying what I'm saying. One of the men that I have in the house had 100-year bit. Let me say that. Triple homicide. I have another one that had 16 years. I have one that did 8 years, and I had one that did 22 years. The worst of the bunch was the one that had 100 years.
Wow.
He is now, I've had him for 4 years.
Wow.
He is now ready to buy his own home. He has a position in society. He has done well. And God be willing, next year they're letting him off of probation.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
And I say that we are proud of our folk. We are. We have the one that I told you that did 8 years. We sent him to culinary arts schools. He's now a chef, if you will. And he too, in another year, will be ready to venture on his own. So we have progress. We have some things to boast about, though we are not boastful. All
Right.
we're doing is what we normally do, and that's help our fellow man. That's all we're doing.
Helping fellow man. I mean, those are great tributes that we have going on. Home ownership, for that, understanding that concept and what it's going to take out here and surviving in society is another thing that we also have to keep in mind for it as well. But I just want to transform our conversation now to this. December 7th is a huge day. Well, December 5th, we're going to acknowledge you for God giving you another tour around the moon again.
Yeah. Be like my kids said, Dad, you old. I said, yeah, you're right. But I'm still here, right?
I'm still here.
There you go.
Here.
And I thank God for the years that He has blessed me with. I say a lot when we talk about it. I am still on this side of the Jordan, but I ain't mad about going to the other side. It's okay with me. But
when He calls you.
It's like you. Johnny, I'm so blessed by both of you and Chris and Terrence and all the guys that came in to sort of be supportive in what we're trying to accomplish. And our biggest project right now, just so you know, in addition to building the new church, we want to get that city block in Wilmington, and it will be the only gated, ungated community that they have in Wilmington. It will give the appearance of being gated, but it won't be. It will just be arches on both ends of the block, and all the houses that's in there will be cookie cutters. They'll be cut down and brand new, everything inside of it. And instead of having renters, we'll be having homeowners, which will be the beginning of what I hope will catch on by all churches and do the same thing, because they all have the same opportunity as we do.
Wow. And that's amazing, to have that vision of just owning a block, putting folks in homes and stuff and just go, sometimes we say 1 or 2 houses, but we're talking about a block here, folks. So as you can see that the funds that we're utilizing is to change the community, it's to uplift the community and provide that home ownership that we need in the community, because we do have several homeless folks here, and we need to make sure that they have a peaceful way of living as well. But on December 7th, we're going to have a nice concert here, and I'm going to let Dr. Smith tell us more about it. Right.
Listen, that concert is so important to me for several reasons. The performance will be presented by my old alma mater from years gone by. In fact, the choir has always been outstanding. It's well-renowned. It's Morgan State University, one of the HBCUs that we are really proud of. They have done extremely well. As I said, they've toured the entire world, and they are a well-renowned choir. Well, they're coming to give us from 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock originals, Christmas carols, a lot of things that we sort of hear on the radio or across the TV, but we don't have a chance to see a formal choir. I'm not talking about just a simple gospel choir. I'm talking about someone who has performed in front of the bishops and in front of the archbishops, in front of the popes in Rome, etc. They've been all over the world. When they come to us with the sense of pride, saying that, look what we have done and what we can do. And hopefully they can instill that into those listeners, saying, yeah, well, if they can do that, we can do that. Well, they've been a world-renowned choir for, 4 or 5 decades. And they've done extremely well. They are 60 members strong. They have a complete orchestra. And they ain't playing, as old folks say. They come real. So I'm proud to have them come in, and we're only charging $40. And they say, oh, wow, Pastor. Well, we had 2 different ways to go to show you how this could have gone. Originally, when everyone was asking for these folks to come, we had started to go to another facility, which would have been the Chase Center. This to give you an idea how bad that is. Anybody that's ever done anything looking like a promotion knows there's a cost factor, right? When we walked in the door, their base money is $10,500. They charge another $10,000 for your sound system and $1 a chair for the 1,000+ chairs that you may have.
Wow.
And if you want any extra, you have to pay extra. So we were $30,000 in before we would even start. So thank God that he sent one of these things to happen that you rarely find happen. Somebody tried to duplicate the tickets, which got us out of it. And we ended up being offered by a totally white church that was equal to the capacity of the Chase Center.
Wow.
Listen, I'm telling you, they joined us at the crab feast, said they had heard about us and they came and wanted to make an offer. So I went to see the church. I was just floored, absolutely stunning. And they gave us the entire package for 1/3 of what the other place was charging. So when I say to you, God works in mysterious ways, he does. And he is a provider. So does that mean that you don't have to help us? Oh, I didn't say that. So now I really do need your help. So that day is coming. But listen, even if you cannot attend, and I say this to your listening audience, even if you cannot attend, send us a donation. We could always use it. You give us a call and we'll give you a direct place to deposit or to send it or to Cash App or Giblify. But give us a call at area code 302-276-0341. And there's a wonderful person who is my secretary that will answer that phone and give you all the directives that you need. And if you want to come and listen and enjoy and bask into the musical presentation that Morgan State is going to, just call us. We'll make sure you have a ticket. In fact, I know that Johnny will be glad to give you a ticket or sell you a ticket because I asked him to sell some tickets. So we're fine. So you can be blessed as we were when we came down to your event. We went to one not long ago, man. And I'm telling you, General Benson, he made an impression on me. Really did. You know, I used to say I wasted 29 years of my military. I don't feel that way anymore.
Right.
I'm dead serious. You know, he showed me something.
Yeah, for it. And Dr. Smith, where's the location for the concert?
It is 2414 Pennsylvania Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware. 2414 Pennsylvania Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware. It'll be in Emmanuel Church.
Emmanuel Church.
Emmanuel Church. And if that rings a bell, it should. Because that's what they said to call this man we call Jesus. Emmanuel. Amen. So yeah.
And that's gonna be a great time, folks. So you reach out, call, send an email. If you want to let them know that you want to attend, you want to provide a donation or whatever it might be to support that out here. As you hear of these community projects that we have going on, we're putting the resources to use so we can save the community, so we can reach out one person at a time and let them know that, you know, somebody loves them out here. We don't want to see our folks homeless. We don't want to see them hungry. We don't want to see them on the street doing other things that's not good for the community. But we also want to lift them up. So this concert is going to be a wonderful opportunity to go ahead and attend, listen to some good music. Morgan State HBCU college here, so they're able to go out and support you know, our community and just have a great time with some caroling and all that stuff for it. And Dr. Smith, do y'all have this every year, or is this an annual event? Or tell us a little bit more.
It is an annual event. The location may change, But it is an annual event. In fact, when we started outside. We
Wow.
had a local choir sing, and everybody came around and said, that's not a bad thought. So the things that we're doing now, we're trying to establish so that our people will have something to look forward to. Now comes my commercial hint. in addition to the choir coming for December, we are planning something for the spring. And that is something that we all at our age bracket can relate to. We're going to be giving you a seniors prom, not a seniors prom for high school kids. I'm talking about seniors. We used to call them cabarets, right? But we're dubbing it the seniors prom, and it'll be good jazz music from one of the most popular jazz musicians in the world. He is Rodney Kelly. I don't mean R. Kelly, the one that's in jail. Rodney Kelly is a jazz musician, and he's outstanding. But they'll be playing all the songs that you want to dance to, and we'll let everybody dress up and do what they normally do and make it a real solid outing. You'll be hearing more about that at the event, but it is going to be called the Seniors Prom.
The Seniors Prom. You know, folks, everybody can have a prom. It don't make a difference what year it is.
That's right. That's exactly right. You know, there's a lot of folks that never went to their prom.
Right.
Which is the reason why we came up with the idea, you know, to be different, right? We spend a lot of money. Listen, people spend a fortune on watching their children, their grandchildren, their cousins, and all the rest get limousines and all that kind of craziness to watch them graduate or go to a prom. And some of them, and I mean no disrespect, they're dumb as a doornail. They came out of school because they got shoved through the whole system, right? And you spent this fortune for them to be celebrated, only to find that once they're out of school, their accomplishments are minuscule. And if we've invested that same thing in the very institution that we had problems with, how much difference would it have been when they came out the door?
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Common sense, you know, start from where the roots are and then rear them up and you'll be fine, right? We don't. We put our values in all the wrong places. That's true. Enough of my preaching for today. I ain't preaching no more.
You just giving some truth. You just giving some truth there.
You know,
of what it is and so much. But I'm excited about this event on December 7th. Please reach out, give a phone call, let somebody know that you're able to assist, attend, donate, whatever it is. It's going to be on 2414 Pennsylvania Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware. So it'll be a great time. And it's from 4 to 7. Is that correct?
4 to 7. And the parking, just to let you know, we have shuttle service as well as a parking lot. We have a vast parking lot, but when that fills up, there's outside parking. But instead of you walking from a block away where the other parking, we're running shuttle services to get you from your car to the venue and then take you back when the event is over. We are excited about it because it is our first effort to unite all of the churches. We've invited Methodist churches, Baptist churches, Episcopalian churches. It matters not. Right. Both of them have contributed, and they'll all be sitting in the same venue. And it's a chance for God to look down and say, listen, these are my branches of Zion, right? Right. But it's the first time they became united. I don't preach separatism. Never have, never will. No. Right? So if we can learn to interact with each other in the faith, imagine what we can accomplish. Just imagine. Right. You know, we're so busy trying to downplay somebody else's worship. That's where it's wrong. In fact, division did not come from God, my friend. That's another Bible study. But this labeling of Baptist and Methodist, etc., that's man, Doc.
That is.
That's not God. So
that is man, and for it is. But folks, I'm just encouraging y'all to take a stance. Come on out, make a donation, so we can be able to make this a very viable concert. As you see, as we were talking about the community events that's going on, we talk about the homeless that's out there, the people that need housing, and we building a church now for for folks to come in and just have some decent worship wherever they are. And it doesn't make a difference what background you come from, but that you're just coming in to worship and enjoy a good word.
Amen. Amen.
For it and stuff. And Dr. Smith, I got a question here. If somebody wants to attend, do they just call the number to attend church on Sunday?
410, Lord, 302-276-0341. They will be given directions, and if they're in close proximity and need assistance with getting there, they would be welcome. Any event that we have is open door. I don't restrict it unless you come with ill intent. Then there is no longer a welcome sign. We've had a young man that's been around us for a minute, and he would be the first to tell you what I said to him. When he first came to me, and I'm not trying to sidetrack, but you have met him. He said, Pastor, he said, I really want to come and serve in the church. He said, but I got skeletons in my closet. I said to him, as I say to you, my young brother, I got a whole graveyard in mine. So if he can wash me clean, he can handle your little business. That's for real. So we are busy trying to make sure people know that we're not standing in judgment, my brother. We're just inviting you in so that you can get yours in, right?
Right.
You can be a part of it, because that's important. It's important to me.
Right.
So,
and that's a good thing, that everybody's welcome. It don't make a difference who you are, where you're at, what walk of life you have. Come on in and stuff. And what time does church start, Pastor? Somebody asked the question.
10 o'clock is when our services start. We go live at 10:30 on Sunday. And you just go to Facebook and pull up St. Matthew's and you'll see us. If you want to visit us personally, we're worshiping at 2117 North DuPont Highway. So you're welcome either way. And if you miss church on Sunday because the football game's on, and we know how that can be, if you miss it for whatever reason that may be, you can always go to Facebook, pull us up, and you can see the entire service. So we don't restrict that way or the other. We just ask that when you pull us up, just do us a favor. If you appreciate what we're trying to do, try to support us. That's all we ask.
Just looking for support, folks out here in the community, trying to provide, some solid foundation for the church, and making sure that the folks that we service, do well. And Pastor, somebody asked a question: do people have to call to get services for homes for men? That you offer?
They do.
Okay.
If you have a young man that now here's what I want you to hear. We've tried it with the young men. We've tried it with the up to 25 and up to 30, and found that it was a real issue because they're not ready to relax yet, right? Everyone we have in our homes right now are on the older variety, 55 and older. Is where we are now. Now, we've made some exceptions, and we've done well with the exception after a screening process. For the most part, that's what we do. So we're trying to gather another place. As we got through telling you a few minutes ago, we're trying to do a city block. And when Johnny goes into his pocket and pull out this bankroll, we can go in and get it done. I know that. But when we do, we want to introduce, I guess, the biggest project we've had in Delaware. We want people to become homeowners because that is a voice in our society. Real estate is the key. We not only have finance people, we also have a real estate broker that we can send you to that get you started and set you up the right way. If that ain't good enough for you, we even got a contract that will come in and do whatever it is you need to do to change whatever you want to change, right? So in the interim, what we want to make sure you know is that this is a one-stop shop. You can come to us and anything you want to do, including if you decide to get married, we can take you from the pulpit, from your marriage to your honeymoon and everything in between. We have ties with a tuxedo shop, limousine service, all that good stuff in between. So you don't have to go any other place but right here. We'd be more than glad to try to assist you.
And folks, it's huge on teaching home ownership. And we always want everybody to be a viable asset out in this community, leave a legacy behind them for their children, grandchildren, whoever it might be and stuff. But it's never too late. As Dr. Smith was just telling us, you know, he still goes through the process with folks, you know. He's housing that age 55 and up. And those people are still viable home buyers. Exactly. They're looking to home ownership and to have it. And guess what? It's nothing but the teaching, the education, the ability for them to do it and believe that they're able to do it and keep it going over and over and again. So, you know, when we educate our folks to do this stuff, then we start to make it make sense for them to be able to live a peaceful life and everything for it. And Dr. Smith, somebody asked, do you have home buyer classes that you offer?
I'm so glad you asked. Before you can get one of the homes, you got to take that 30-day course. That will teach you how to balance a checkbook and teach you what is valuable, what is not valuable, teach you what you can do and what you can't do and how you can progress. And realistically, it's so simplistic. The reason why a lot of folks go through their changes in rental property is because they've never been taught how to live in ownership. That's it. And if you want to do some comparison, a parable of thought, if you will, imagine, if you will, you had a new pair of shoes, right? You spent a lot of money buying those shoes, right? Well, chances are you're not going to abuse them. You get upset when somebody even steps on them, right? Because they're your personal property. But if you were renting those shoes like we do when we go to a tuxedo shop and we rent them, we don't care. we don't care. We just take that stuff and throw it back in there because it's not ours. I want you to be prideful about having your own. And there's something about saying, this is my house, that makes a difference. So we will get you there. I promise you that. Now, the season for me may be closer to the end than it is the beginning. And that's not a voice of doom. What I am saying is that what I'm training is people to follow me so that if anything should take place, I have another one that will take the torch, that will keep it going. It's about the legacy. It's not about glorifying me. It's about making sure that the purpose is fulfilled. That's where we are.
That's it. And folks, you got to reach out 302-276-0341. I see somebody asked, you said 30-day home buyers classes. When are those? Are those in person or online?
They can have it either way. We used to do, before we had gotten to the hotel, we used to do them in the church facility itself. And they would learn, they would start their whole program. They would be screened. And you'd be amazed at some of the things that they will learn while they're in this process. So they just need to call and schedule a class, and they will be viable, knowing that they're serious about it. We will tell them what it would require when they're ready to enroll. That's it.
Enroll, folks. So sign up, call, understand, because we need to have this checkbooks. Do they even have check registers anymore?
See, there you go. See, that's the other thing. With this new modern age, and I'm a novice, trust me, I'm struggling trying to get a computer to work. And listen, my kids tell me I'm antiquated because the phone I got is not the updated phone. I don't care. As long as I can say hello and goodbye, I'm good with that. But the modern thing today, man, people have become lazy. The computer has done all of their computing for them, right? They don't have to learn to count anymore. Good parable of thought. You ever go into a McDonald's and let the register get broken and they try to give you change? They stand there forever looking at the money, thinking that something's wrong with it, right?
That's right.
It is true. I took a bishop friend of mine and we went into McDonald's. I was treating some folks and the register was down. I gave it, I think the meal came to like, I think $4.50 some odd cents, right? So I gave him a $50 bill and I gave him a 50-cent coin, or I gave him 2 quarters or whatever I gave him. And I handed it to him. And I'm serious, he looked at that money for so long, trying to figure out what to do with it because he couldn't count. We are struggling. Our students coming out of school, man, I'm telling you, they're not ready for the world. But it is our job. And that's why I'm talking to folks about home ownership. I'm not just talking about teenagers anymore. Now I'm talking about adults who finally realize that they want to have home ownership, don't know how to go about it. There are enough people that can train you in all of the avenues, financing and where to choose, what you can afford, what you cannot afford, in our housing program, what it is to get involved, that sort of thing. But you have to start. You got to want to start. And what you cannot do, you cannot depend on somebody else to do it for you. You've got to be able to do it yourself. Get involved, learn what you need to learn, and your chest will be that much more pumped up when you finally accomplish your goal. I do mean that sincerely, and we are always willing to help, to talk to you, and to share with you whatever you have. And the one thing that you will not find from me, I don't try to proselyte folks from other churches.
Right.
I don't try to convince you that somehow that we're the best thing since sliced bread. That's not what I do. What I simply do is open the door. I break the bread of life, and it is what it is. If you're looking for anything other than the truth, then you may not want to come here, because I'm going to give you real and I'm going to give you the truth. That's all I know. So
that's all I'm at. And what are some of the things, questions, what are some of the things you teach in this real estate class?
We had touched on a couple of them when we were talking. One of the things that's important, that there's a prerequisite. You cannot have a history of drug dealing. I didn't say drug use. I said drug dealing. There's a difference, right? And if during the course of this 5-year trial period that you have, which is a probationary time, if you're caught doing that, then you're out of the program. You lose your house, you lose everything, right? That's one of the things. The other thing is that you only allow to, for example, if it's a 3-bedroom house, you can't have 19 people in it. I mean, that's just stupid, right? That's community living, man. That's not learning ownership. So it is telling you what is viable for the space that will enable you to have study space, to have your interactions, etc. It's just a matter of teaching you the things that are not taught on a normal basis, right? Value is the other thing. You know, people get involved in the things and value all the wrong things. Children today, just to give you an example, there's not a child in the world that cannot identify the symbol for Nike or one of the other brand names. But you ask them who the last 3 presidents were, they probably can't tell you. You ask them what contribution that anybody of color has ever made in our country, they probably can't tell you, because their value has been placed in the wrong place. If you teach them, if you rear them up the right way, the things that they will utilize during the course of their development or on this road of this thing we call journey of life, then they'll be better prepared for life. And warn them against the foe. This is my last thing, and I'm going to get off his soapbox. One of the things that just happened recently, and I was asked, how can I be so understanding? Well, it's because I reared 6 children, right? 5 of them were girls, right? One of my students, for those who don't know, I teach school too, or now I'm counseling. But one of the more attractive young ladies, she's 14 years old, came to me and said, Pastor, I think I'm gay. And the normal response for folks, when she was scared to death to tell her parents, but the reality is that's when understanding has to come into play. That's your teaching moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Separating the difference between actuality and faddism, because a lot of these youngsters are falling prey to the fad and not really their emotional feelings. So you have to help them through them. Now, there hasn't been a conclusion made, but she has made progress because now she's ready to face a lot of other things that she didn't know before. I say that to say to people who are listening, stop trying to be so judgmental.
All right.
We're only one paycheck away from being that person standing out on that corner. Just one paycheck away, right? So instead of you snubbing your nose, you may want to offer them something of substance. Pastor, they always asking for $1. I ain't got no money, right? Well, do like my deacon did. He told one of them, said, listen, I don't have any money to give you, but I can pray with you. That made a difference in that young man's life. So I say to you, you never know who that person is. Jesus can present himself in any manner he chooses.
That's right. That's right. And folks, man, excellent show. As you see the number going across the screen 302-276-0341. Reach out to Dr. Smith and his staff for that assistance you now have or need. Also, don't forget December 7th, 2025, at between 4 and 7, 2421.
No, 2414.
2414, excuse me, Pennsylvania Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware. We'll have that gospel or that chorale, I should say.
There you go.
Morgan State Ford, and want to see y'all out there in the place. Come join us. Dr. Smith, I want to just thank you for taking the time to join us today, to just spread some knowledge on us and give us some guidance. And if you have some closing words, you can have them.
Yeah, let me just say, people are getting ready for Thanksgiving, a special day that's marked on the calendar that you've been indoctrinated to believe that this is your day of celebrating a day of Thanksgiving. Reality is that every day is a day of Thanksgiving, and you should be able to interact with your fellow man in that same spirit of Thanksgiving. During the holidays, if you ever notice, and this is not a lecture, this is just truth. You walk up and down the street and somebody say, Merry Christmas to you, or whatever the case may be in that holiday season. When any other time during the course of the year, they snub their nose, they won't even talk to you. That same spirit that exists during this holiday season should continue all through the year. And how much of a difference would that make if we all just did that? So tomorrow or day after tomorrow, when you sit before that table and you give thanks to God, give thanks for not what he's giving you, but for the opportunity to serve him one more time. That's it.
That's it. Folks, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy that person that you're with on tomorrow, and not only Thursday, but just let them know that you appreciate them and it's good to see them for it. And we'll see y'all next week. Creative Finance with JB. Y'all have a great night.